A tiny speck of land off Brazil, inhabited by thousands of the most venomous vipers in the world. Not surprisingly, it's known as Snake Island, and it's probably the most dangerous place on the planet.
What if you found yourself at the borders of a stunning landmass, but to be informed of the untold dangers lurking within? Would you still venture inside? Those are the kind of places we're uncovering today. Join us as we explore the most dangerous places in nature. Number 15. Danakil Desert, Ethiopia, Eritrea. Let's start with the Danakil Depression, the Danakil Desert in Ethiopia and parts of Eritrea. Estimated to have been formed around 11 million years ago after shifts in the Earth's crust, this desert is a unique landmass on planet Earth with geological and chemical compositions closer to what you'd expect on other planets.
Next month it might be somewhere else.
Italians built it 8 years ago, 9 years, and it's abandoned now.
Sitting silently 330 feet below sea level, it is one of the lowest places on Earth. The region is on the northern part of the Afar Triangle, a location notorious for its lack of rain due to lying in a rain shadow between several mountain ranges. This lack of rain, its extremely low elevation, and proximity to the equator combine to make the Danakil Depression the hottest place on the planet as far as year-round average temperature is concerned.
The Danakil Depression is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth,
with heat ranging between 118 and 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Helped by the rampant volcanic activities in the area, dotted all over the Danakil Desert are hot springs like the Dalol and the Gayat Ale Pond, also known as Yellow Lake. While the Yellow Lake is the saltiest water body in the world, the Dalol is responsible for the stunning coloration that appears in the images of the Danakil Desert. The air contains hazardous chemicals that can be inhaled, while the fuels from volcanic activities have made most of the lands inhospitable. Although the general conditions of the region are fatal to humans, scientists have discovered organisms known as extremophiles due to their ability to live in these extreme conditions. Figuring out how they survive could help us understand how to colonize planets like Mars. Number 14. Skeleton Coast, Namibia. The Skeleton Coast in Namibia is notorious for being the location that has witnessed the highest number of shipwrecks in the world. It is so bad that the region was once littered with skeletal remains from the accidents. In truth, the Namibian coast goes by a couple of names. Portuguese sailors called it the Gates of Hell, but for the indigenous Sand people, it is the land God made in anger. So, why is the region referred to by these fearsome names? And what caused the many shipwrecks on the Skeleton Coast? We can trace the lethality to the Benguela Current and the desert air. The winds in this region blow from land to sea, and when this happens, it creates a cocktail of fog too thick to see through, and a current powerful enough to submerge the biggest vessels.
It's been foggy all day today, cold. We can't even see like maybe about 200-300 meters offshore, and that's about it.
One of the earliest recorded shipwrecks in the region happened in the 1530s. In 1942, the famous British cargo ship Dunedin Star sank off the coast alongside the rescue aircraft and 2 rescuers. In 2018, a Japanese fishing vessel met a similar fate, and it was the turn of Zelia India in 2014. There have been many more accidents, and the coast is currently dotted with frames of the wrecked ships, including the Tong Tao, Bengala Eagle, Edward Bolen, and Otavi. Not far away from the riverbed are lions, bush elephants, leopards, chakma baboons, brown hyenas, and other wild animals. Number 13. Valley of Death, Russia. Welcome to the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia, where a stratovolcano seriously threatens unsuspecting humans, animals, and birds. The volcano is called Kikpinich, but the danger comes from a small part known as the Valley of Death. At the foot of the Kikpinich volcano lies a small area measuring 1.2 by 0.3 miles. Harmful volcanic gases accumulate in this area and kill animals and birds that go near. According to research by scientists in the 1970s and 1980s, chemicals such as hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and carbon disulfide escaping the volcano are gathering in this area. Under normal circumstances, these chemicals should be dispersed easily by the winds, but this place is far from normal. That's because the place has a predator trap keeping the chemicals in place, preventing them from being diluted in the wind. During the spring, when snow melts, the gases are released, contaminating the nearby river and killing birds and animals that drink from the water or consume other animals killed by it. The Valley of Death is another example of what happens when random natural forces come together. It is one of the most dangerous places in our world, which can't be more apparent from the name. Number 12. Grand Prismatic Spring, United States. The Grand Prismatic Spring in Yellowstone National Park is one of the most beautiful water bodies in the world. It is also the third largest spring in the world and is located in the Midway Geyser Basin, one of the prominent geyser basins in Yellowstone. This spring was first discovered in 1871, and finding a name for the site was not a challenge, considering its striking coloration matched the rainbow dispersion of white light by an optical prism. Despite its beauty, you cannot go too close to the spring because of its harmful conditions. The Grand Prismatic Spring is a boiling water with temperatures reaching 160 degrees Fahrenheit. The stunning colors result from the minerals and the microbial mat consisting of thermophilic bacteria that consume them. The colors range from green to red, depending on the amount of chlorophyll and carotenoids present and the temperature. The red and orange colors are more prevalent in the summer, while chlorophyll's dark green takes over in the winter.
Both the chemical and the biological characteristics suggest it may be an ideal modern-day analog.
In the middle of the water body, you'll notice the clear blue coloration of the water. That's because that part of the water is too hot for organisms. Hence, that part is sterile, retaining the original color. Number 11. Mount Washington, United States.
There is a group of meteorologists who make a living in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, at the top of Mount Washington.
Standing tall and rearing its head in the misty sky is Mount Washington, located in New Hampshire, United States. With an elevation of only 6,000 feet, this ultra-prominent mountain may not be one of the tallest in the world. However, it still manages a reputation for being deadly, thanks to its erratic weather conditions. That's because of its location in the Presidential Range, where several storms from the Atlantic, the Pacific Northwest, and the Gulf region meet. This dangerous peak witnesses hurricane-level gusts for an average of 110 days yearly. According to the New Hampshire Magazine, at least 161 people had lost their lives around Mount Washington between 1849 and 2019, with many of the fatalities discussed in the book Not Without Peril by Nicholas Howe. The author added that many deaths stem from misunderstanding the mountain's weather, but it gets worse when you factor in the rocky and uneven terrain. On April 12, 1942, a wind speed of 231 miles per hour was recorded on the mountain, and this remained the record until 1966.
In the winter, they told us there's a 50% chance of hurricane winds and often cloud cover.
Today, Mount Washington still holds the record for the most violent wind without a tornado or cyclone, daily wind exceeding 100 miles per hour. Mount Washington's weather gets even more severe during winter months. It can get as cold as minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and hikers are warned to watch out for avalanches. Number 10. Lake Nyos, Cameroon. Located about 200 miles from Yaoundé, the Cameroonian capital is Lake Nyos, a crater lake on an inactive volcano. The volcano has a pocket of magma that seeps carbon dioxide into the lake, converting the water into carbonic acid. This gives Nyos the possibility to release limnic eruptions, a rare natural disaster where carbon dioxide erupts into the atmosphere. This sad reality was evident in 1986 when a large cloud of CO2 was released into the atmosphere. It was a tragic incident that led to the death of 1,746 people and 3,500 livestock in the surrounding settlements.
It's hard to imagine that this breathtaking landscape could cause so many deaths.
One of the most affected places was Char, which has since been abandoned by the inhabitants. The eruptions of CO2 also had a severe impact on the water bodies. The aquatic life in the area was crippled with the death of fishes, amphibians, and crustaceans. It was the very first recorded large-scale natural disaster caused by asphyxiation. A tube was fixed to help the lake leak gases naturally, but the region remains a hazard waiting to happen with the weakening walls of the lake. Number 9. Nurongo Volcano, Democratic Republic of Congo. Thanks to its activity, Nurongo Volcano is one of the most dangerous in the world. This active stratovolcano has a height of more than 11,000 feet, but the depth of the lava lake can vary, sometimes being the most voluminous lake in history. In conjunction with the Nyamuragira volcano, this volcano has been behind 40% of the volcanic eruptions in Africa. Its lava lake is special. It has a high level of silica, which increases its fluidity and makes it flow faster than any other lava lake on the continent. Since 1882, the volcano has erupted 34 times. The eruptions in 2002 led to the evacuation of 400,000 people.
Mount Nurongo could erupt again at any time. Once again, the people of Goma are looking for a safe haven.
The earthquakes damaged houses, and 245 people lost their lives to asphyxiation by carbon dioxide. It killed more than 30 people in 2021 and continues to be a threat to nearby villages. Number 8. Mount Everest, Tibet. Mount Everest is perhaps one of the more popular names on the list. Boasting a height like no other, this mountain is the highest mountain on planet Earth above sea level, measuring over 29,000 feet from top to bottom. Mount Everest is located in the Mahalangur Himal region, on the border between China and Nepal.
Mount Everest in less than a week. One of the fastest ascents in a place where every breath is borrowed.
The tallest mountain in the world attracts people willing to experience its magnificent heights. With standard routes in Nepal and Tibet, the mountain does not present visible dangers. However, even experienced mountaineers have had to contend with dangers like altitude sickness, unforgiving weather, blistering wind, and avalanche hazards from the Khumbu ice falls. A total of 340 people have died trying to conquer this mountain, and among them, 200 have not had their remains recovered due to the severe conditions. The upper sections of the mountain are considered a death zone with frequent slips and falls. The temperature in this zone can fall dangerously low, causing frostbite to any exposed body part. The violent wind can knock people off easily, and the extremely low atmospheric pressure around 337 millibars eliminates 2/3 of the available oxygen.
Has symbolized the ultimate in mountaineering adventures. Oxygen so scarce at the top, it's known as the death zone.
Anyone not acclimatized to the altitude could lose consciousness within 2 to 3 minutes. Mount Everest is so dangerous that anyone injured on the way will likely not make it. Helicopter rescues are impossible, and the steepness does not give room for carrying people. Number 7. McMurdo Dry Valleys, Antarctica. Most of the dangerous places in the world have native microorganisms despite being life-threatening to humans. That's because many species of microbes develop special features that help them occupy the most deadly regions. But what happens when a place is so hazardous that even microbes run away from there? That's the story of McMurdo Dry Valleys in Antarctica. The region is one of the world's most rigorous desert environments. The valleys are the only areas in Antarctica without snow, and the only place on Earth where humans have not found microbial life. It is surrounded by mountains that prevent the inflow of ice from the glaciers. Instead, it has low humidity. Rainfall is a myth in this region, with the only accounts being anecdotal. It features many small water bodies, but the entire area is free of any living organisms. The closest are photosynthetic bacteria occupying moist areas in the rocks. There are also certain anaerobic bacteria that live off iron and sulfur. For scientists, these valleys provide a glimpse into terrestrial environments on Mars. Number 6. Fraser Island, Australia. Fraser Island, also known as Kagari, is a 600 square mile sand island in Queensland, Australia.
As well as the island's name, 19 hectares of land has been returned to the traditional owners.
The island receives around 500,000 visitors yearly and was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1992. However, Behind the bubbling nature of the island and its historic relevance lies a disturbing past and presence that make it one of the most dangerous places you can visit. Formed in the Pleistocene era 700 years ago, Fraser Island was once connected to the mainland before rising sea levels caused a separation as the last ice age was winding down. Captain James Fraser, a European settler, wrecked his ship on the island and died there in 1836. Hence the name Fraser Island, even though it has been renamed as Kagari by the state government. Shipwrecks were common around Kagari. One of the major ones was the SS Maheno, a Scotland-built luxury ship which broke down on its way to Osaka, Japan. Bushfires are also rampant. A 2020 fire from a campfire burned rapidly, endangering nearby settlements until it was stopped with tanker aircraft.
The bushfires are the main front, and the most concerning for authorities is in the west near Kingfisher Bay.
Kagari is also home to the last species of dingoes that have not been crossbred with dogs. These wild dogs are reported to have attacked humans, killing a boy named Clinton Gage in 2001. Also posing a threat are the 18 species of snakes, 1/3 of which are venomous. The lakes and swamps on Kagari are acidic, and the surrounding water bodies are also unsafe. They contain shark species, such as great white, tiger, and bull sharks. Survival on this island requires extreme care and following all instructions. Number 5. Death Valley, United States. Take a moment to think about your skin burning under a relentless sun with no escape in sight. Excruciating, yes, but it is likely nothing compared to Death Valley's summer days, which can climb over 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
If you look at the top temperatures on record, Death Valley is all over that list.
It has the highest air temperature ever recorded, with 134 degrees Fahrenheit on July 10, 1913. While this temperature has not been officially verified, close measurements of 130 degrees Fahrenheit were also recorded in August 2020 and July 2021. You'd expect things to simmer down in the night, but that isn't the case for the Death, where overnight temperatures range between 82 and 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Located in the northern Mojave Desert, eastern California, this desert valley got its name from an unfortunate event that happened between 1849 and 1850. A group of European American settlers was traveling through the region, looking to take a shortcut to California's gold fields, when they got lost. It was a devastating experience for the crew who had reconciled with the fate of meeting their ends there. They eventually lost one group member, but Death Valley already showed how dangerous it could be. 12 lives were lost in the valley between 2007 to 2023. The valley is usually dry because it's located in the rain shadow of 4 mountain ranges, like the Sierra Nevada and Panamint Range. Scientists say the heat is a result of multiple geographical and topographical factors. The clear and dry air ensures the surface is intensely heated. Warm air cannot escape due to steep valley walls, and heated air travels inside the valley from nearby desert regions. Number 4. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Lake Natron in Tanzania's Ngorongoro district of Arusha region is an alkaline lake like no other in the world. The lake's alkaline content is easily noticeable from the bright red coloration of the water.
Tanzania's Lake Natron isn't exactly a pleasant place for a swim. The water is alkaline.
Water in the lake travels from the southern Iwaso Ngiro River and other mineral-rich hot springs. Over the years, the conditions surrounding Lake Natron have helped it become a distinct water body that's beautiful and dangerous. For instance, the lake is shallow, less than 10 feet deep. The rainfall in the area is irregular, and the temperature is usually above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This means the lake evaporates easily, leaving behind natron, also known as sodium carbonate decahydrate, and trona, sodium sesquicarbonate dihydrate. These chemicals give Lake Natron its characteristic pH, greater than 12, an alkaline level that is harmful for organisms without the required mechanisms. Alkaline lavas deposited during the Pleistocene era have also helped the surrounding areas form a caustic alkaline brine due to the high carbonate level and low amounts of calcium. Aside from salt-loving microorganisms that can thrive in such water, Lake Natron remains harmful to humans and other animals. Number 3. Mount Cineabong, Indonesia. Earning its place as one of the most dangerous places in nature is Mount Cineabong in Indonesia, located in North Sumatra 25 miles away from the Lake Toba supervolcano, it is a Pleistocene to Holocene stratovolcano of andesite and dacite. That means it has existed for a long time, as far back as over 2.6 million years ago during the Ice Age. Andesite and dacite are volcanic rocks formed from slow-moving lava. They build up pressure as the lava flows, resulting in dangerous eruptions. Mount Cineabong is what you can refer to as a sleeping giant. It is said to have erupted 1,200 years ago, between 740 and 880 CE. The next eruption of lava, steam, and gas happened in 1912. The volcano remained in place for many centuries before the recent eruptions in 2010, 2013, and 2014 when it claimed the lives of 23 individuals. Since then, Mount Cineabong has been active with eruptions that have displaced over 10,000 people from more than 10 nearby villages.
Mount Cineabong has erupted again, forcing more than 25,000 villagers to flee their homes.
The eruptions in 2016 killed 7 people and continued posing a threat in the following years. On the 7th of May 2019, Mount Cineabong released a massive ash and smoke column that reached 6,500 feet in the air. The same thing happened in June, but the eruptions climbed up to 23,000 feet this time, covering the skies and sending materials flying everywhere. Since then, it has sent several eruptions between 11,000 and 16,000 feet into the air, sometimes making it impossible for people within a 3-mile radius to step outside.
Indonesian volcano Mount Cineabong erupted early this morning.
The region is one of the most volatile locations on the planet, with constant observation in place. Number 2. Snake Island, Brazil. Snake Island's official name is Ilha da Queimada Grande. Still, it is pretty easy to see why it is popularly referred to by the nickname, considering the abundant population of snakes it boasts. Characterized as a part of São Paulo in Brazil, it is a small island measuring only 106 acres with different terrains from rocky Row rainforest. As lands formed different shapes during the end of the last ice age, rising ocean levels ensured the disconnection of the island from the mainland, trapping some members of a venomous snake, the golden lancehead viper, also known as Bothrops insularis. What followed was an unchecked level of growth, with the snakes taking over the whole island. The island is believed to house at least 1 snake per 11 square feet, which is 1 square meter. However, it wasn't an easy task. First, they had to adapt their lifestyle and feeding mechanism to ensure survival on the island. They had to carefully select their food, opting for only 2 species of birds from the available 41 on the island. Their venom is one of the most potent on the continent. It is believed to be 5 times more potent than those of their related species on the mainland. The golden lancehead snake's venom allows them to easily subdue their prey. On humans, their venom can cause brain hemorrhaging and multiple organ failures, with a mortality rate between 3 and 7%. They are currently labeled critically endangered, and the island is off limits to anyone who wasn't cleared to visit by the Brazilian Navy and the Chico Mendes Institute for Biodiversity Conservation. Number 1. Nika Crystal Cave, Mexico. In Mexico, Nika Cave, also known as Cave of the Crystals, is an enclosed chamber containing some of the largest natural crystals on Earth. The giant selenite crystals can be as large as 37 feet with an estimated mass of 12 tons. Nestling quietly in Chihuahua, Mexico, and connected to the Nika mine 1,000 feet below ground level, this cave remained hidden for many years until its discovery by 2 brothers. In April, year 2000, Juan and Pedro Sanchez, 2 siblings, were drilling the mines when they came across the cave. Scientists say the cave was formed by the coming together of limestone and groundwater containing anhydrite. When the anhydrate broke down, it produced calcium and sulfate, which combined with other chemicals to form selenite gypsum crystals at the right temperature. The result is a beautiful cave with crystals protruding in all directions.
I've just returned from a spectacular and perilous journey to the center of the Earth, to a magical place known as the Crystal Cave.
However, the cave is also perilous. The temperature can reach 136 degrees Fahrenheit, rivaling Death Valley. This cave is even worse due to conditions that prevent cooling via sweating. Every minute spent in this cave is life-threatening, and people cannot stay longer than 10 minutes. It is largely unexplored, mainly because it is currently flooded and closed. Our planet is filled with mysterious places, and some of them pose different threats to humans. Nature's way of warning us that we're not in charge. If you've enjoyed this video, we've got other related ones lined up just for you.